Okay, so this is before I do anything on the truck. I still got ABS warning light, brake light, TPMS, but newly airbag light, and we got a DTC file, but that's for the ABS. So I'm gonna try and fix the ABS light. No, I'm gonna try and fix the airbag light today by replacing the Clockspring. So let's get started. All right, so to start, we gotta, oh, that's the wrong way. We gotta remove the negative terminal. This 10 millimeter took me, no joke, hilariously long to find. Don't bridge the battery contacts. And we're just gonna, oh, nice and greasy. Remove the battery terminal, set her off to the side, don't lose that nut. And wait, the SRS system discharges, because we gotta remove airbags. All right, so I don't know if this is necessary, but we're gonna remove some of this trim under here to facilitate easier removal of the steering wheel trim. So there's one bolt over here. Then under these trim panels, we got one more over here, and then the rest is clips in it, so it should slide out, being cognizant of wiring that's gonna come with it. All right, so this trim panel just pops up. Just try to pull it vertically up. It's all got clips that set in, and that unbinds this panel. So we want to pull this guy out before we drop this one, if we can. Now, this is pretty much free, except for one little fastener back there. If you remove the false pedal, it should just pop out. That's fun to get back in. This guy should just pull straight out. That's what I've been told. Haha, I misled you. It does not pop off, it is threaded. I've been pulling that for a while. I did that last time too. So this threads off. And now we got that loose. Perfect. All right, we'll drop this down. See what access that gives us to the steering wheel column. Okay, so this pulls out. Being mindful of weather stripping. Pops out of some clips. Let's see if it'll come down. Oh yeah. What am I stuck on? Oh, just more clips. All right, yeah, so straight out would be the best motion here for most of these guys to try to pull towards yourself and down. To free this, you're gonna have to disconnect wiring connectors for mirror controls. That's the tire pressure reset light, and what's that guy? Oh, it's the hood release. You don't have to take that out. It's kind of a pain to get back in if you're fine working like that. All right, down we go. All right, so I've tilted the wheel down to give myself the most working clearance on the top, with the knowledge that the top cover has to come off first. And I kind of slipped my hand in here, use a trim tool. That's popped up. So let's pop the other side. These are always gross. Doesn't matter where, no one cleans them. Okay, so this guy's popped up. I'm gonna get him with the trim tool, see if we can pry that a little bit more. So for the lower, we want to just turn the wheel. We have access to a screw on each side. There's two screws out. There's just one more thing binding this, and that is the lower kind of shin cover. So those look like 10 millimeters. I'm gonna pop those out real quick. I was wrong again. There's a third bolt to get right on there. Okay, so now bottom steering cover should come right off. Oh yeah. There we go. Woo! Dusty. And top should be free too. So let's grab that. What are you stuck on? Might just be the side. Alright, I'm gonna futz with this off camera. Alright, so I'm extra glad I didn't force that, because if we just gain ourselves a little bit of insight, we can see it's a clip. And gonna get some needle nose and release that before I break it. I popped this little side panel with a trim tool, and there are Torx underneath holding this guy on. So probably similar on the other side. All right, so it looks like same deal over here. Pop one cover, and we got Torx. So those two Torx fasteners on the side, they retained, if you don't do too much with them, by these little plastic clips. You pull them out to the side, and then the steering, I think that's what they call the steering pad with airbag comes off. So we must now carefully remove two airbag wires and horn wire. Actually, I don't need to remove from the side. I can just pull those connectors. We'll see if I gotta replace that too, but let's see. Alright, so with the airbag disconnected, both these plugs, they pull up here before they can be removed. Airbag, horn wire disconnected. We now have access to the Clockspring, which is right behind there in the steering column. We're gonna take these plugs out, undo these bolts, and then we're gonna mark and then remove this guy. Okay, so we've marked the nut, so we can take that off. We know the alignment on the shaft and on the wheel. Marked both sides. Got it everywhere, but we're gonna take that off. I think these screws are gonna have to come off too. And I think that rear cover probably as well. So looks like that's just clips down here, and then yeah, that's gonna have to go. Clips and then two screws up there. So with both bottom clips freed and two screws out up there, you can see this rear cover is now just completely independent of it. And we're good to pull the screw, or nut, whatever it's called. So I wouldn't budge with the socket, but I got out the breaker bar and was able to get this in one go without a lot of wailing. So now our wheel is detachable, and I believe our method of removal is to whack the steering wheel a couple of times, loosen it up, and then it should pull straight off, again being mindful of the wires. Alright, so now that we've removed the wheel, which was very scary, which also freed the cruise control connector, it's to remove the Clockspring. So my understanding is this is only fastened by one clip right here, and then there is at least one electrical connector that needs to be freed as well when removing this. Alright, so there's that back clip, and then as it comes off, there are actually these two side clips that are going to want to come off. Try and be gentle with those. And there's two electrical connectors, this yellow one and this black one, and more possibly a few of steering wheel audio controls. Alright, so here we have the new part. It's an Intermotor CSP 189. It's not a genuine Toyota, but should do the job. It's got the two connectors on the bottom, like you'd expect. And it's got this orange tab compared to the old one. And make sure you don't pull this, leave it on there until a later installation step, where you will need to remove that tab as part of the process, or it won't go back together. So we're going to install this next, which I think should just be clipping in. Okay, so it should basically align itself as long as you don't futz with it. Because it's got these tabs, just seat it nice and even. Get that one up there, and then we're going to reconnect electrical connectors. All right, now it's everything in reverse. Once you're comfortable that your electrical connectors fit, you got the right part, it's seated, your clips are in, moment of truth. We need to pull this tab before we begin further reassembly. Here we go. No turning back. Reconnected the, or reinstalled the cruise control switch that I had removed unnecessarily. And I got the nut back down, line it up so that it's not over tightened. Should be nice and tight though. You don't want your wheel falling off. The Clockspring should turn freely with the wheel. That's the idea. We're gonna reconnect our airbag connectors, our horn wire, and I'm pretty sure this goes to the little cruise control. What do I know? Alright, so after a little bit of futzing with this, I missed a step. I've neglected to put back on the rear cover, which is important because it retains the airbag. So we're gonna have to take this bolt back off and put this behind it, and then we can put it back together. So now that the rear cover's on and fastened with those 2 screws, we can actually tighten this down again to the right tightness, line up the lines. So I got it tightened down, and we're gonna tuck this guy back into the clips, how it was before, and plug it into its connector for the cruise control. Alright, cruise control wire reinstalled, and we will put back in the steering pad with airbag, and then we'll tighten that down with these T30s on each side. Okay, so with the airbag, 2 airbag connectors back in place and the horn wire down there, this should just slide in, and then we'll tighten those T30s. Okay, so don't forget to replace the little trim panels that cover this on each side once you've tightened down each of the T30s. Alright, so I reconnected the battery, now that we have the airbag reinstalled, never mind my side project. With key on, we still have an airbag light, but that's expected, means we're getting power to it. But most notably, my cruise control switch now works. So that means something's working right there. And I started it and even shut the doors, and the airbag light did not go off. So I think there's a reset procedure there I have to follow.